Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about introverted sensing in INTPs. I received an email, a comment on my video about the NESI asset. So the comment was by Shimmery Sun, and they were saying there's something I never understood about SI though that I'd like your thoughts on. It seems like every other function, but SI follows the pattern of internally focused versus externally focused. SI, on the other hand, seems to always be defined as being detail-oriented, referring to the past, having routine, etc. What seems to be more consistent is that since it's introverted, it would be a more passive, pensive, and receptive version of SE, resulting in the person caring more about internal comfort and experience, either bodily and or general and or interpreting the environment in a more impressionistic way. It might prefer to take in the environment versus going out, manipulating, interacting with it hands-on, like SE would. I replied, and in this video I'd like to elaborate on what I said, just sort of try and give a verbal response for everyone to hear in order to allow everyone to understand what introverted sensing is about and also how it interacts, how it works in INTPs and similar types. So I said, I thought maybe introverted intuition is similar, however, it is an innovative function that seeks patterns for future predictions. I say introvert sensing as the stubborn, impressionistic function that prefers to keep the user somewhat detached from their environment to have comfort. On the other hand, extrovert sensing seeks all the novelty in the environment for satisfaction. SE seeks bland food, meditation, exercise, all these things that aren't necessarily pleasurable, but give an internal sense of balance. So introvert sensing looks at past experiences, sees what's worked, and establishes habits that satisfy the person and are generally good for the person. Not always rational, but generally work and have left good impressions on the person, such as exercise. In this sense, SI seeks past data experiences to gauge the individual's behaviour in the present. My dad's an ISTJ and he is firm in his ways, whereas an ESTP is open to experiencing many new things, extrovert sensing. I agree that introvert sensing is receptive to the environment, not as active as extrovert sensing. Extrovert sensing is very action oriented in the present, whereas introvert sensing is more like reflective and pensive, as Shimmery Sun commented, because it's more like, okay, this is happening now. Does this relate to my impression of what happened in the past? It's hard to sort of understand this function as an INTP because it's my tertiary function. It's not very conscious. It's not my inferior, but it is still not very strong. So I'd say as an INTP, I do eventually get firm about certain things. Like it's like, yes, running is a good thing. So I want to keep up running. I want to run 3 times a week, for example. However, I do often break that habit out of laziness. So, quickly. Yeah, so it's like instinctual for SJ types. I can sort of bring up something where where I challenge a SJ's SJ's views, and they'll quickly, like, you can see their body like tense up, and they'll be like uncomfortable about it, and they'll like, no, like I don't agree, and it's not rational. It's not always rational. Like I know a nice DJ who only likes Samsung phones. He doesn't like Apple, and he's sort of you mentioned Apple, and even though Apple is a good company, their products work well, and overall, objectively, Apple is a good company. Because he had a bad experience with Apple, he won't want anything to do with it. Same with his experience with Commonwealth Bank. Commonwealth Bank didn't let his card get used when he was 19 years old. He's now 60 and he's hated Commonwealth Bank forever. I think it's pretty funny, but it goes to show how strong introvert sensing is in its impressions. So I think this is why when an INTP, for example, is challenged, in their views that they know is right through logic, through introverted thinking, their introverted sensing can support the dominant function, making INTPs very stubborn when they are challenged by their principles, such as being able to do what they want, being able to think freely, being able to make YouTube videos without being judged or something like that. I don't know. But there's certain principles with INTPs. I definitely get annoyed when I get told what to do, when I don't see the logic behind it. So in a SJ type, they get strong impressions as to what other people are doing and what works. So their parents will be strong workers, and the ISTJ son will follow in this as well, and the parents will have strong religious views, and the ISTJ will also maintain those views because it gave them comfort, and they don't really care so much if it's rational or not. It works for them. It's always worked for them, so they'll stick with that. Whereas an INTP filters first through the dominant cognitive function, introverted thinking, then extrovert intuition, so they're very open-minded. However, introverted sensing supports these first two functions, in giving INTPs confidence in logic. So reason is very important. I love logic. I think it's a flawless system. Not always. Well, yeah. Logic always sort of pierces through everything and comes to the right conclusion, the thing that's true, regardless of people's subjective views. So yeah, introverted sensing, I agree, is largely internally focused. It's as if like an ISTJ gauges what they like in the first 20 years of life, and then they are stuck in their ways from then on. Whereas an extrovert sensor is always more interested in traveling new places and experiencing new things. So compared to other functions, I'd say yes, introverted sensing is very internal. It's not introspective, but it is very, yeah, it is definitely very internal, impressionistic function. Thank you for watching, guys. Cheers.